What's good, everyone? This is BizCoon back at you with another reaction video, this time to Legal Mindset once again within the context of Frogan, Denims, Reddit, and Discord mods being in legal trouble. For those that don't know, there is a certain someone named Ethan Klein who has been beefing with what I like to call the Hassan Piker cinematic universe, which includes the likes of Hassan, or otherwise known as Hamas Diddy Bin Laden Adolf Epstein Piker, Frogan, Denims, Mike from PA, and all those other dick riders of his. And Ethan has had enough, and so he's basically suing them to oblivion. And it's a glorious, glorious downfall that's been a long time coming. But before we get started, make sure you guys go check out Legal Mindset's original video and check out all those others if you will really want to keep up with it. I'm making this video because I just want to be able to contribute at least a little bit.
So let's just go ahead and start with Frogie. Of course, I've got my PP. Now it's the same PP, but I'm going to do it differently and do it kind of special for you guys. So, this is a very special PP because it's live. Let's talk about this. Frogan is literally about to default early next week. What has she done with the 50K she raised? We have not heard from her or her attorney at all. She has like 5 days to respond to our complaint or she...
Right. Something that Frogan, otherwise known as He Jabba the Hutt, had been doing is that she's been completely avoiding being served. She has yet to be quote unquote served, which is a legalese term for when, yes, you are being sued and they hand you the documents to prove it. Denims and Caseytron, who are part of this lawsuit, have already been served, and they're both sharing a lawyer and stuff. But Frogan seems to have disappeared, despite her being the source of Hassan's very orbit. So it's very interesting that she's able to play this massive game of hide and seek, with which more Pegasus be all like, she be hiding outside the Becca McDonald's. I mean, it can't be that hard.
Loses by default, and this was last night. So after this came from Ethan, so this is from Ethan, right? This was the Snarkers. And this is one of the most legally inaccurate takes. That's one of the most legally inaccurate takes ever. Okay, this is from the Snarkers. Can't wait to see the case dismissed after Fro. What is she, like, first of all, who calls her Fro?
Yeah, true.
I hear them call her Fro, it sounds like she's Froyo, okay? Like, I can't not...
A jingle just popped into my head, but like hell, I'm gonna give it the time of day.
Think that she's frozen yogurt.
She's probably eaten all the frozen yogurt within a 1 mile radius, let's be real.
Let's get into this. After Fro files a motion to quash after being improperly served. This dude is such an idiot. He has all of his money and doesn't know what to do with it, so therefore his quack of a lawyer is just taking it from him. LMAO.
I see. No, this reminds me of when Hassan called Legal Mindset a quote, fake lawyer, and he has said this. This is a public statement, which is slander in the case of Legal Mindset here, who is a real lawyer. Hassan called him a fake lawyer, saying that he goes on Rumble, even though he does not use Rumble.
This is really funny. Okay, well, first of all, let's correct the record. All lawyers are greedy, money-sucking, soulless.
That's literally the joke that cartoons have been making all these years. Whenever you see a lawyer, they're like, well, as long as I get paid, right? And not only that, but lawyers will attempt to bend the law to the whim of their clients, even if their client is guilty of murder.
No, they're all crazy in a special way. All lawyers are crazy in a special way. But beyond that, this is procedurally inaccurate and completely wrong. And I'm going to explain how this is just completely wrong. So, first of all, let's explain what a default judgment is, okay? Default judgment is a court ruling in favor of the plaintiff, typically because the defendant does not file a defense or the defendant doesn't acknowledge the claim. So,
right, because Frogan has basically been ghosting everyone, has been ghosting Ethan's legal team. And so if she doesn't show up after the allotted time limit, then she basically loses by default.
If you just want to stick your head in the sand and pretend you don't know what's going on, you're likely going to get a default judgment. Now, there are certain circumstances in which not receiving service is a real thing. However, in this case, Ethan Klein has multiple methods. He can, obviously have what we call hand deliveries when you're hand serviced, but there's also service by publication, so you can publish it in newspaper general circulation, and that can generally get back and serve a service. And beyond that, we all know that Frogan knows about this lawsuit. Like, it's...
Yeah, she apparently has, like, defense fund that, as Andrew here has said, has over $50,000, yet it seems that she's not doing anything with it except maybe buying Big Macs.
It's not something that Frogan doesn't know about. It's very public, so it's very clear what's going on here to a judge.
Yeah, from what I remember, there was someone went to her house, or what they assume is her house, in order to serve her, but there was someone else there that was all like, oh, I don't know anyone named Frogan. That person has never lived here, even though Ethan and his team are fairly certain that they know that she lives there and that she's just basically in hiding.
Frogan is trying to dodge this. Frogan is trying to evade this, right? And Ethan Klein, through this default judgment, this court ruling in favor of plaintiff, he would win without Frogan ever having a chance to assert defense. So Frogan, even if she gets this default judgment, so even if the court ends up ultimately siding with Ethan Klein and saying, hey, default judgment, and remember, with a default judgment, that isn't a win for Klein. He gets what he wants. So he'll get damages, whatever else he wants, injunction.
So yeah, even if she avoids the whole thing and she loses by default, she'd still have to pay the damages in that case.
Removal of the video, whatever he wants, he's going to get that by default. Just say it. Well, this person's not fighting back, so okay. And then he can proceed, if she doesn't do anything, he can proceed to collecting on that judgment at a certain point. However, Frogi Yogi does
Frogi Yogi
have a potential opportunity to challenge the default judgment. And she does that with an objection to the default judgment, which is a...
Has she been doing that? I mean, we haven't seen her since this whole thing began.
Motion to set aside. So she can make a motion to set aside the default judgment. Now, she does need to have a valid excuse, right? So not receiving the claim could be if the service, all types of service, were invalid. But I guarantee you that at least one type of service that they used on this, whether it was, hand delivery or publication or some sort of substitute service, was legally sufficient to provide notice of service or sufficient service.
Right. They went to her house, or what they assumed was her house, and tried to serve her, but someone else was there.
With the case, they're not going to issue the default judgment typically if there was completely bunk service. But the burden would be on Frogi to prove that. And beyond that, you'd have to have something like illness or extreme emergency. And as far as we know in the Frogan,
I can imagine a pretty extreme emergency for her being not having access to a restaurant.
Case, Frogan is not in the hospital. Frogan is not under extreme emergency. Frogan was not in a crisis zone.
She was in crisis. She's not getting her snacks that she keeps eating on her stream on a regular basis. To quote the Blue Voldemort, I haven't seen a clip of her where she hasn't been eating.
Right? She's not somewhere where bad stuff is going down, right? Or she'd have to prove a procedural error, right? However, she has to respond to do this, and that response has to be very prompt and persuasive. So she'd have to do that anyways. So she's going to have to go back, write to court, and explain why she did not respond before, etc. And the judge is not obliged to accept that. The judge can say, I don't accept this. We're still sticking with the default. Here's the biggest thing. And here's where the snarkers are completely wrong. This is where the snarkers just are.
Oh, yeah. But something I forgot to mention is that Ethan has gotten approval to subpoena the Redditors and Discord moderators that have been involved in, all of the harassment campaigns against Ethan, like the CPS calls to his house, or the human skulls and stuff like that. And he actually does have the identities of a lot of these snarkers and mods. And even some people that are against all of them also have some private information as well.
Really stupid. Is even if Frogi objects to the default, and even if the judge grants her motion, if everything goes the same way, you know what the end result is? It's not the case being dropped, kids. It's the case proceeding as normal. So if Frogan goes through all this extra work, all she's going to do is have the case proceed as normal. Literally, somebody in the chat said it. Who said it here? Square one. It's back at square one.
Yep.
Congratulations, Frogan. You literally did nothing.
Yeah, she hasn't been doing anything at all. Because doing work requires burning calories. And I don't know if she can afford that.
You do all this work for freaking nothing. Wow, Queen. Wow. So smart. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. The jabs that he's taking.
Oh, my gosh. Sigma. Right?
Okay. No, we're going all the way with this.
We're just going crazy here. But let's also talk about...
I'm crazy. And you should never hit a crazy person. And I apologize for this pause screen.
The money. The money. So here's our lovely, lovely Frogi.
I mean, I'm sure there are some people that are into this, but a majority might not necessarily be.
And she's got, her legal defense fund at this point at 35.
Yeah, it says it's sorry that my avatar is in the way. It says 35 at least, 35K at least, and the goal is 200,000, and she's only 18% of the way there.
Okay, she also had other donations from other places, so I believe, Ethan's number was around 50K. He's tracking this closer than I am, so let's just assume that it's 50K, but she's got at least 35K here. But she had this legal defense fund, and my concern is, what about the money? What did you do with the cash, Frogan?
No, what is she doing with the money? Because if anyone knows about what happened with iDubbbz's creator clash, they were supposed to be raising money for charity, but they ended up pocketing 34% of the donations, which is a big no-no.
What did you do with the cash? You're clearly not spending all that money on your lawsuit. And so the question is,
you know what? I'm pretty sure we all know exactly what she's spending it on. She going to all the all-you-can-eat buffets within a 5-mile radius. Only they're not enough to be able to satisfy and satiate her, so she has to keep going and going until they're all out of business, and then she uses the money to open them back up and pay for all of the fixins.
The question is, where is that money going, Frogan? Is that going to your muffin budget? Because it's certainly not going into responding to the claims. And what happens if the funds were diverted to purposes other than the legal defense? That's a possible crime. That's a possible crime.
Pretty much what happened with Creator Clash, although I don't know the legality of that stuff. I mean, what's happened with, like, Vishojo and the whole, like, with Iron Mouse trying to raise money for the Immune Deficiency Foundation, and all of that money ended up going to, according to one insider source, it was going to cocaine and hookers. So, there.
Theft by deception, false pretenses, fraud, this type of fraud, also wire fraud. So we're talking about potential theft or fraud. Did it go into an IOLTA? That's a very good question. We don't know. And once again,
I don't know what an IOLTA is.
Again, this is speculation. So out there, let me be very clear. It's me speculating. It's a question I'm asking, and I don't know. And we need to know, where's the money, Frogan? What are you doing?
Where's my money? I want my money now! Give me my money!
The other thing is, if she was misdirecting these funds, she could be fined. There can be restitution, right? Meaning the money is returned to the people that donated, and there can even be prison time. So we need to figure.
You can't send her to prison. I don't even know if she's gonna like prison food.
Out what's going on with that money. So last night, this was the language last night. Tell me if she changed this language. So after 2 years of target harassment campaign against me, Ethan Klein has now escalated it into suing me for reacting to his video on Hassan and myself on his video titled Content Nuke Hassan Piker.
The thing is, what had happened, and the reason why Ethan Klein is suing them, is because they were reacting to his content nuke without providing, like, adequate commentary and being transformative enough. All they did was just let it play on their streams while they all went off, while they either sat there and said nothing, or they walked away to do other things whilst their chat was reacting to it themselves. Now, obviously, people could point the finger at Ethan Klein saying that he's against fair use, even though what they were doing was not necessarily fair use. I mean, some of them have even explicitly stated, I think it was Denims, that said that she was reacting to the video in order to steal views from him, which is malicious in and of itself. At least with what I'm doing, I'm actively trying to be as transformative as I can. I mean, I don't always have the time to make like advanced edits, right? But I'm at least providing enough commentary so that the video is at least like twice as long. And if you wanted and I always tell whoever's watching to go watch the original videos before you watch this one. Always try to watch the originals beforehand.
This fundraiser to cover any and all legal fees associated with this complaint and any counterclaims I have against them. So stop there. So far, as far as we know, she has not paid any legal fees, and she definitely hasn't filed any counterclaims. So as to these two, they're wrong. Now, here's the part where we might get into some debate. This next part, the part I underline. She puts any other bills, and personal expenses. So she's going to argue, oh, I can put food under that.
I mean, Isn't that what we're all thinking, that she's just putting food under that?
I can put makeup under that.
Makeup, of course.
Does I need to look pretty for litigation?
No, you always gotta look your Sunday best, right? Well, I guess in her case it would be more Friday. I don't know where or when this is gonna be taking place.
I can do all this sort of stuff. That's a personal expense. I can pay for like 22 layers of cover-up.
Oh, good lord.
Right? Under personal expenses, that's a personal expense. But the problem is, and then the rest of it, from lost wages and damages arising from this litigation. Well, the question is, when you have arising from, if you're not participating in the litigation, if you're not fighting back, there's no litigation to speak of.
Oh, I see where he's going with this. She has yet to actually respond to, like, being served. All we have is her legal defense fund, which we don't even know where the money is going. And the fact that she's not even actively responding to the being served, he's saying that she's not actually participating within the litigation.
Therefore, it's not arising from the litigation. So despite the fact that personal expenses is here, and that might be valid, it's in connection with the litigation. It's not personal expenses for her to go on a personal trip, right? Or her to go buy a sandwich or whatever. It's not for any of that. All right, so let's get into Denims. Let's go deep on Denims.
Okay, Denims, right. She's the one that denies grapes that happened on October 7th, saying that no hostages have ever given any first-hand accounts of being raped. And she proceeded to watch a video of a woman who said someone else was felt up, but that she herself wasn't. But Denims conveniently left out the part of the video where the woman in question does describe being felt up. Conveniency is convenient.
Even though she's disloyal. Here is this discovery matter. It's an order granting a stipulation for the plaintiff, that's Ethan Klein, he's TED Entertainment, to serve third-party subpoenas prior to Rule 26F conference. So this is literally, remember, as a reminder, disloyal Denims.
Disloyal.
Literally.
Right. She ends up she threw her mods and stuff under the bus just so she could save her own ass.
Betrayed the Reddit mods.
Yes, exactly.
Stabbed them in the back. She refused to defend them at all.
Oops, sorry.
She completely sacrificed them to the corn in order to get this moving along, right?
Right.
And she gave up all of their information.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy. Fucking bitch-ass bitch, as they say.
Said, you know what? You can subpoena them, and you can get all their information. That's Denims. That's the type of girl she is. Once again, this is why these people are going to fold like a sack of cards.
No, this reminds me of when Johnny Somali was on trial in South Korea. He was smiling at first, but then when the judge started listing everything he did, it slowly turned into a frown. No, if that happens here, that would be fucking glorious.
They have no loyalty for each other. They don't care for each other at all. All of this, we're one big community, we're one big proletariat. That falls apart.
No shit. All a bunch of fake-ass little communist bitches is what they all are. I mean, you have Hassan Abai, Hamas Diddy Bin Laden Adolf Epstein Piker, who is a millionaire with the Gucci bag, the communist with the Gucci bag, right? And and it's very obvious that he doesn't want to pay for them. He doesn't want to pay for their lawsuits, even though he's more than capable. He just expects everyone else to pay for them.
That falls apart immediately when push comes to shove. They're pushing each other in front of the firing squad, right? Upon consideration of the joint stipulation, granting plaintiff leave to serve third-party subpoenas prior to the Rule 26F conference, plaintiff TEDx Entertainment, Inc., and defendant Alexandra Marwa Saber, PK Denims, Dirty Denims. And for good cause.
Dirty Denims. They say I'm Dirty Denims.
By rules as follows. The stipulation is granted. TEI, that's Ethan Klein, may immediately serve the subpoena attached as Exhibit A to the stipulation on the third-party Reddit, that's so Reddit in general, accompanied by this order, and shall include the date of the Reddit subpoena that was issued and the date of compliance. And they may also serve subpoena on Discord. Uh-oh.
Oh, damn. He's enjoying himself. Legal mindset freaking enjoying himself out here. You love to see it.
Granted by Wesley L. Hugh, maybe, a United States District Judge on July 31st. So the point of the matter here is that we have a official subpoena of Discord and Reddit. And Discord and Reddit, I'm telling you right now, and I know this, I have friends that are civil litigators, I've seen this in other cases that we've studied, etc. Discord and Reddit are going to turn over all the data. They do not care.
Yeah, I mean, If you're talking to the higher ups that run Reddit and Discord, you know that they don't want to have anything to do with a lawsuit that doesn't even involve them. It involves these snarkers and these mods. So, yeah, if Denims is going to throw her mods under the bus, then obviously these companies are going to do the same.
They have no dog in the fight to defend these people. None. Zero. They do not care. They do not want to fight, want to go into a huge legal battle over fighting the disclosure information. They're just going to do it. They're going to roll over and do it.
But then also, because some of your cohorts leaked your Discord messages to us, we have some of your Discord IDs, and guess what? We're gonna if anyone's gonna have your real identity, it's gonna be right there. We're gonna have
that's it.
Yeah, this is the creation. This is how villains are made. Your average cartoon movie villain with the tragic backstory. He's been screwed over by all of these people that orbit Hassan, and he's getting his satisfaction now.
That's it. Hold on, let's play it one more time.
Messages to us. We have some of your Discord IDs, and guess what? We're gonna if anyone's gonna have your real identity, it's gonna be right there. We're gonna have all your messages. Discord. And listen, don't try to erase them. If you erase them now, it's not gonna look good.
Oh yeah, ooh, something that Frogan did was that she deleted all of her videos on Twitch, which obviously you really shouldn't do. Things on the internet are forever. So in my case, I eventually want to start streaming once I finally get my 3D model. And as much as I would like to, I'm probably not going to delete any of my older videos with my PNG avatar. We can call them legacy content. I'll probably put old in brackets in each of the titles so that you know that something that you should know about me is that I don't really like looking at my old work. I'd rather just look to the future to create new things than to worry too much about what I used to do.
You guys remember that? You guys remember what that is? Now, obstruction. It can't be obstruction. It can be obstruction, but spoliation of evidence. That is exactly right. That is exactly right. You guys in the class paying attention. So let's continue. Let's play the rest of this.
And you should know that I'll still get them even if you erase them, because the companies hold.
Yeah, they don't really delete that.
Yeah, and that,
everything on the internet is forever. Once you post something there, it stays there.
So I'm getting it. So you can erase, you can run, you can cry, you can piss, but I'm coming, and you're about to find out what happens when you a stranger. And
there it is.
Fafo, as they say.
We gotta pull that sound.
Okay, I will gladly do.
Great scene.
But then also,
so is that even if they delete it.
All right, that's actually the end of the video right there. So yeah, I just wanted to be able to react to this just so I can see exactly how far Ethan and Legal Mindset have come in trying to expose all of these people for all the bullshit that they be doing this past year. Not like this past half a year, really. This is when it all really started to boil over, and it's very satisfying to see the downfall of these kinds of people who have been saying all sorts of heinous shit. Some of the most vile things that you've ever heard. Yet, for some reason, Twitch thinks it's all okay. So once I start streaming, I will not be streaming on Twitch anytime soon. But anyway, that's going to be it for the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you guys are enjoying the downfall of the Hamas Diddy Piker orbit. Thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe, share, and comment, and do the same thing with Legal Mindset, and I'll see you guys in another time.